guys, Michael for Racing here, and oh my goodness, the freaking vibration down the road. I guess I don't even have to start with apologizing for that. Anyway, because it's bad. Sorry about that. But anyway, so today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a vlog. And I haven't done a vlog ever before, but I figured it'd be a good way for me to get closer to you guys and for me to, share a bit more into my personal life than just in the videos, because I really don't have a chance to share much into, you don't give much insight into my life through the videos because they're usually oriented on cars. Which, the vlogs will probably be oriented on cars, but I figured each vlog I'll try to do a little something, like tell a little backstory about how I came into something, or what I do, or, what my hobbies are, that kind of thing, because I see other YouTubers doing it, and it really shows how close you can get to other, fans. So today I want to talk to you guys about how I got my Mustang. So how I got my Mustang was basically I had my 1997 Saturn SL2 that its head gasket went out, and so I was having a lot of problems with it. And at that time I had my BMW, my 2000 BMW 323Ci, but it wasn't running. I couldn't drive it, so I was literally out of a car. I had two cars, but I couldn't drive either one of them. So it was like, what was the whole point of it all? So I, working with my father in our business, fixing RVs and stuff like that, I had some kind of leverage because the guy that I got my Mustang from, he's an old friend from my father, and he buys and sells RVs, and any of the ones that have major damage, we fix for him for a discounted price, and because we do a lot of bartering with him. He has a lot of things that my father wants, like a tractor implement and stuff like that, and he also has a license to buy and sell cars. And he always has a few of them out there, but he never really takes good care of them, that kind of thing. So I bought my BMW from him as well, but the difference with the BMW is I knew it had problems. He was upfront and honest with me entirely about it. He said, listen, man, the head gasket, we replaced the head gasket, but the top end still tore apart. So I hired the guy that tore the head gasket, replaced the head gasket, because he had quit mid job basically. But I found him, hired him to come finish putting it back together. He didn't do it right though. I mean, it never was right. Never was right. Anyway, but the Mustang, of course, he's still upfront and honest with me. He said, I drove it here. We replaced the fuel pump because the fuel pump was leaking. What kind of work can you barter, or can you pay out? So I mentioned that in the last year, the 5 things I love about my Mustang. I might upload this before then. If I do, you'll see it in that video. If not, then you saw it in the other video. Anyway, I said I paid $1,700 for it. Which, technically I did pay $1,700, but I didn't actually pay out $1,700. I bartered out $1,700 worth of work for him. So I didn't have to come out of pocket but $300 because I had to pay his taxes, or the taxes for the Mustang, because you can't really barter out for taxes, that kind of thing, because I would be coming out of his pocket. So that's how I came across my Mustang. And the night I got it,
oh my goodness,
this was a fun day. So,
oh my goodness,
I get the Mustang, right? Let me go back first before I actually said I was going to get it. I didn't want that Mustang. I didn't want it because Mustangs weren't my thing at the time. I seen them around all over the place, and it bothered me because they were so common. It doesn't anymore, but it did back then. So he said, me and my dad were talking, and he was going to help me finance a car, because I wasn't old enough to sign for myself at the time. So he said, listen, we can barter out for this car. You don't have to go get finance. It's paid for. We'll finish the job in 2 days, and you'll be done. You'll be absolutely done, and you'll have a car that you have the title in your hand for. You don't have to pay a crap ton out in interest or pay a crap ton out in insurance. All that stuff. It'll be yours. It won't be as new, won't be as nice, but it'll be yours. And so I reluctantly agreed, and I went and I sat in the car. I felt the steering wheel. I fired it up. I revved the engine. I heard the noises that it made. Something just changed. I was like, yeah, It felt right. I know this is gonna sound super cheesy and stupid, but when you get into your first sports car, you know it's the one. You can just feel it. My father, his first sports car was a 70 something Firebird Formula, and he said he saw the same look in my eyes as his father saw in his eyes whenever he sat in his car and I sat in the Mustang. See, it's just this look of, that's the one, that's the car, that's it, that's the one. It's like finding true love, but not true love. It's a car.
Close enough.
Close enough. Anyway, so I said, I'll do it. I'll take it. I like this car. It just felt right to me. So we still hadn't even done the work yet, but I went and talked to the guy, and he said, here's the keys. It's going to need a set of tires, but you can take it home. Take it home, drive it, make sure it's what you want. He's a really nice guy. And he wanted to make sure that I was comfortable, because he had other cars. It was a 2000 Mustang GT 5-speed that my dad was trying to get me to get, but I didn't fully understand how to drive a manual yet. So I said I didn't really want to. Plus, I knew it was going to kill me on gas, and at the time, I really couldn't afford a crap ton of gas. So the V6 was just the better option of the two for the time. I regret it now, but I regret it and I don't regret it, because I knew it wouldn't be this car, and this is the car that I fell in love with. But at the same time, I knew I would have enjoyed that car more. Anyway, so that's besides the point. So he said, here, take it home. You need to put a new set of tires on it. Conveniently, there was a tire place literally right next to the place, like right next to where I got the car. Thank goodness, because the tires were literally showing wire. That's how worn down they were. They were bad. So I pulled in the tire place on a Friday after 5. And this guy was like, yeah, I can put you a set of tires on. And I'm expecting him to, like, hit us with, a lot of money, because it's after Friday, after 5 o'clock on a Friday. So I was expecting a lot of money. He put me a slightly used, the set of tires only had, I think it was 100 miles on them. Slightly used, hand-cooked tires on the Mustang. And the only catch was, the reason that the people got them changed from a brand new car was because they didn't like the way they rode. And these are wide, aggressive tires. I mean, these are pretty big tires, like pretty wide tires. That was the only catch. He said, there's nothing wrong with them. The treads are good. They just didn't like the way they rode. And I see why, because they ride really aggressive. They're just, they grab at every piece of pavement they can like that. And it is a bumpier ride, but for the price, I paid $200, mountain balanced out the door, for a set of hand-cooked tires, wide tires. And, you can't beat that. I didn't really care about the ride quality. I still don't care about the ride quality. They're great tires. And so I can't complain about that. So as soon as we leave, it just starts torrential downpour. It's pouring down rain. You can't see, 5 feet in front of you pouring down rain. So we pull into the gas station, right? And this has been a tradition ever since I get a car. My father puts my first tank of gas in. That was what his father did with him. So he put my first tank of gas in. And so, and keep in mind, this is pouring down rain. I can't hear yourself talk, or can't hear people talking, because it's raining so loud, so hard and it's loud. So me and my dad, we're filling up the tank of gas, and I'm watching this thing. It rolls over $40, which gas is expensive, but it wasn't that expensive. And I'm going, he's like, this thing has a huge gas tank. And I go, you smell that? He said, oh no. And he stopped pumping gas. We looked under the car, and gas is pouring out of the top of the tank. Still has the problem that the pump seal, because the pump seal's on top of the tank, is bad. So whenever you fill the tank up and it expands, the metal expands, it gaps that seal, and gas comes out. So I can't fill my tank up, but that's a problem I'll fix later. I got the seal, I'll do it later. Anyway, we didn't know that at the time. So we spent $40, he spent $40 on gas just for it to pour out and run all over the ground. So we very carefully pushed the Mustang out in the rain. I got back in it, and that way, I wouldn't spark anything and blow the whole place to smithereens. Very slowly got back in my car and drove off. I lost, because of the sloshing, half a tank of gas in a mile and a half. because it was sloshing out of the tank because there was two seals that went bad. The one that, the neck that goes on the side and then the top. I fixed the one on the side. I just hadn't got to the one on the top yet. So at the time, it only could fit like half a tank of gas because it was sloshing out all over the place. Luckily, it was pouring down rain. Thank goodness it was pouring down rain. Because I think if it wasn't pouring down rain, gas would have went all over the road. I could have get pulled over. I'd got in a lot of trouble. It would have been bad. It would have been really bad. So thank goodness for that. Anyway, so we get to I realized that my wipers are just junk because I'm sure they're just old. So we get to the auto parts store, get me a new pair of wipers, and I'm following my father on the way home. And it's raining so hard. I mean, it hadn't rained like that in a long time. It was raining so hard, I could not see him when he was only about 30 feet in front of me. I only could see the flashing. I could turn his flashers on so that I could follow him. I could not see the road. I could not see the lines. I could see headlights and taillights, and that's it. It was that, just torrential downpouring. And so, very slowly, I made it back home. Very slowly. And I was living with my grandparents at the time. And they didn't even know I got a new car. So I pulled up, and they thought it was somebody else. But I'll never forget, I got up the next morning, went outside, and it wasn't raining or anything. And I washed and waxed it for the first time, and I still have a picture. If I can find it, I'll go ahead and put it up now, of the day after I got it. And ever since that day, I love this car. Of course, it developed problems in the future, later on. Like, after I got it, I drove it a lot, and it hadn't been driven a lot before, so a lot of things, like, broke. Like, all the hoses cracked and split, and each time, every single hose that cracked and split, each one left me on the side of the road at different times. So there's like 8. And each of those times, I was left on the side of the road with an overheated car. But, surprisingly, after all this time's been overheated, all the times this engine's been overheated, it still hadn't, warped any heads or anything like that. So, gotta give it to the V6. They're tough engines, especially if you keep it stock. But that's the story about how I came across, my Mustang for the first time. Or how I got my Mustang. How I came across it. Why I got it, I wasn't into cars at the time, but, it was something different, and I don't regret it. I wouldn't trade this car for the world. Out of all the problems it's given me, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, I remember when you had to do every night with the transmission.
Yeah, put it this way. This car has frustrated me so bad, that I almost sold it after I put I got a transmission, put it in, and it went out. Literally a day after I put it in. Got another one. And the front seal for the pump busted because I didn't seat it right, like an idiot. Of course, that was my fault, but still, it was so frustrating. Had to take it out again. I've dropped this transmission 5 times, and this is the 3rd one that's been in. But I kept telling myself, partially my father kept telling me too, just relax, calm down. It'll all work itself out. And I said, I'm going to sell this car. And he's like, don't do that. If you do that, you'll regret it. And he tells me that because when he was my age, he collected cars and everything like that. He had a 71 Mach 1 that he sold, and he had a 55 Chevrolet truck. He had a lot of nice cars that he wished he had held onto, because if he held onto them, they would be worth a lot of money now. Especially that, I want to say it was a 75 Formula. I'll have to ask him, and I might correct myself in the future videos, but it was something along the lines of like a 75 Formula. And what happened with that car, though, he didn't sell it. He saved up his money. This is a messed up story. He saved up his money to have it painted. He was going to get it painted brand new wine metallic, a beautiful color, because it was the Pontiac green, and he liked the green, but he didn't really like it that much. So he saved his money up to go have it painted. Somebody stole it while it was at the paint shop and totaled it out. And Trans Ams have a unibody on them, so anytime that you get into an accident, the front end literally breaks off the car, like it breaks away from the car. That way, if the engine blows up, it won't be right up on you. And it messed up his car. I mean, it messed up the front end of the car. and that's really just a messed up thing. I mean, there's nothing. The insurance gave him, like, I think it was $1,700 or $1,800 for that car, and he had thousands into it. I mean, that's just such a messed up thing. And my heart goes out to him. If I ever come across a lot of money, I will buy him his car again. And because I mean, he didn't sell it. You know, he had it forcefully taken from him, and that's something that nobody should ever have to experience. But he kept telling me, he said, "Don't get rid of this car because I'll regret it if I do." And I'm glad I didn't, because after I got it, everything worked out. Of course, I had a little bit of transmission problems in the future, but that really wasn't the transmission's fault. I have my radiator, since it's an automatic transmission. You know, I have a radiator coolant. Transmission fluid going through the radiator to cool it down. Sorry. And my radiator cracked, so I put a new one in. And the water jackets that the jackets that the transmission fluid goes through to cool down, they busted, and it was sucking water back. And I'm glad I caught it before it got too bad, and I ended up, flushing my transmission out, getting a new radiator, and everything worked fine, as you can see. But that gave me quite the scare, not gonna lie. But
and I got another radiator.
Put in, and I hadn't had much problems with that. It's always just never gets old. Anyway, I just want to also remind you guys, go let me know down in the description and slap a like on this video if you want me to do a comparison on, the K&N filters versus just an aftermarket drop-in filter. Is there really a difference in performance? I know a lot of the strong K&N fanboys, I want to call you, say that there's a difference between K&N and normal. And I'm not saying there isn't, because I mean it may have different materials, but is there a noticeable difference? I want to know that, because I mean there is a huge jump in price. The aftermarket cold air intake for this car was like $160 versus the one I got, which was $35 or $40. And then, I mean, but I just want to know for sure, and I'm gonna record through the whole thing. That way we can finally put to rest, is there a difference or not? Well, leave a like on this video and go let me know down in the comments if you would like to see that happening. Because if you get enough comments, give enough likes, I'll do it. I'll spend the money on getting a K&N filter and all that stuff. It's not too bad, but it's still more expensive. Anyway, go also check out my horror channel. I gotta say that right. Now, horror channel, down in the description below, where I upload videos like creepypastas and horror game gameplays, that kind of stuff like that. That's what I like to do on my downtime. It's pretty fun, and we're almost to 500 subscribers on that one. So go subscribe if you haven't, if you like that kind of stuff. And also go check out my iFunny down there. I'm active on there some. Of course, I'm really busy, so less and less. Whenever I can be, I will be, that kind of thing. But it's a good way for me to keep up with you guys. Also, go follow me on Twitter at Frightful. It'll be down there. That's my horror channel name. But I'll also talk to fans from the car scene there too, because I mean I'm going to be making a Twitter in the future. That's kind of like a mixture of both, you know what I mean? Like it's not going to be just horror, it's going to be also with the car stuff too. I got to come up with a name and stuff like that. But definitely go check that out. Tweet at me, follow me, all that good stuff. I really like to talk to fans and stuff like that. And I made a lot of friends through iFunny, and a lot of good people. And I really like to connect with everybody like that. And I also forgot, my wife's joining me today.
Yeah, you forgot to mention me.
I'm sorry.
I love you.
Love you too. Anyway, so that's it for this video, guys. Let me know if you like the whole vlog thing. I really feel like I can talk to you guys more or less on a personal level than just a countdown or a review and everything like that. I feel like I really get to know you guys as well as you get to know me. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. And go check out those links. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you in the next video. Have a very safe day, guys.